Hey there, I'm Ari with the Tech Buyers Guru, and I've got a brand new product for review today here on the channel. It is the Logitech G604 Lightspeed wireless gaming mouse. Now, right in front of me, I have a number of other Logitech mice, and the reason I have these out here will become clear in a moment. I'm actually going to cut to the conclusion right now. I love Logitech gaming mice. I love their wireless gaming mice even more. But this is not my favorite Logitech gaming mouse. And you'll soon find out why I think Logitech made some decisions that were good, but actually made some mistakes as well with this new G604. Now, the G604 is the newest mouse in the Logitech gaming lineup. In fact, it's the only fourth generation mouse to be released as of this date, September 16th, 2019. The last number in the model name actually refers to the generation of that product. So this is the fourth generation 600 series mouse. I actually have two previous generations in front of me. I've got the G602, which was released in 2013, and I also have the G603, which was released in 2017. I've actually reviewed both of those on my website, and I love the G602. Really, no other mouse is quite as comfortable as the G602. Now, Logitech knew that because when they designed the G604, they copied it exactly. The G604 uses the same shape thumb rest, the same shape ergonomic grip, the same curves, the same layout. In fact, it even has the same 6 buttons on the side. Now, it's interesting to see what Logitech did with the 600 series lineup, because when it updated the admittedly quite old G602 to the G603, it actually used a very different design. The G603 used the design that debuted in 2016 with the G403. It's a simple shape, but it's actually quite universal in terms of its comfort level. Just about everyone would find this to be fairly pleasing to use, but without the thumb rest and some of the other flourishes of the ergonomic design in other mice, it probably wasn't perfect for anyone. There was another problem I had with the G603, which was that the sides were very slick, so it was actually really hard to get a good grip. So I actually did not give that product a particularly good review. One thing I actually really do like about the G604 is its hyper scroll wheel. You push that clutch button and you get that hyper scroll and basically infinite scroll, which is great for productivity apps. I'm not sure I would use that in gaming, but I really do like that feature also for reading long web pages. I hit that clutch again and I get that nice, very, very good feedback, that notchy feel. I actually really like that. Very heavy duty, metallic. It's actually amazing that it's both metallic and yet grippy at the same time. I don't know how Logitech did it. So this is one of the nicest features of this mouse. Another thing I like about the redesign of the G604 versus the G602 is that the bottom has been raised. This is actually something I expect Logitech to carry over onto other gaming mice. It prevents the mouse from dragging on the mouse mat if the Teflon feet wear down just even a fraction of a millimeter. By raising those feet, you have no chance of getting drag on the bottom of the mouse. I really like that design, and like I said, I expect Logitech to implement that across the board as new generations of mice are released. Now, another thing to know about the 604 is that the 600 series is specifically Logitech's AA powered alkaline series. I actually find that in 2019, having a series of mice that are based on AA batteries is kind of antiquated. I personally feel that that's probably one of the biggest drawbacks of this mouse. Now, there's nothing actually wrong with this implementation of AA compatibility. It actually uses just one AA battery as opposed to the two AA's that the previous generations used. And the top goes on pretty well. It's secured magnetically. No latches to break. But the problem is, it's kind of an anachronism. A high-end gaming mouse, in fact, one that costs $100, which is the retail price of the new G604, with AA batteries, that just doesn't make sense to me. Now, Logitech may have its reasons for continuing the 600 series of AA powered mice, But frankly, to me, that speaks of like an office mouse, something where, hey, you're at the office, you've got a whole set of AA batteries in your desk, and you want to be able to pop those in really easily. People who use gaming mice are probably used to the idea of recharging components. And all the other Logitech mice at that price point, the $100 price point, including one of my favorite mice, the G703, uses an internal lithium polymer battery. The other advantage of Logitech's lithium polymer series of mice is that most of them are compatible with the PowerPlay charging mat, which allows you to actually continuously charge the mouse. So it's not just a wireless mouse, it's a wireless charging mouse. And that is a brilliant innovation. Nobody else can touch that. No other manufacturer has even come close to releasing something as innovative as the PowerPlay charging mat. And so at $100, I'd like to be able to step up and then add this to my system. I can't do that with the G604. It's stuck with its AA battery. The other concern I have with the AA battery is it makes this mouse quite heavy. Even with just one AA battery, this is 135 grams. Shockingly, that's actually more than the G602 weighed with one AA battery. This came in at 132 grams with one AA battery. Now, admittedly, the new Lightspeed wireless system, as well as the 16,000 DPI Hero sensor, are more efficient. So this actually gets 250 hours of battery life on one battery, whereas the G602 only got 125 hours on one battery, or 250 hours on two batteries. So battery life is doubled, and yet weight really hasn't improved at all. Now, with all that said, Logitech really can't go wrong with its sensor or Lightspeed wireless system. In fact, if you're doing competitive gaming or in any kind of fast-paced gaming, the only wireless mice you should be using are Lightspeed mice. And Logitech offers them starting at $50 and going up to $150. Now, this $100 mouse, of course, also includes Lightspeed wireless, which is great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with its wireless system. It's extremely strong in terms of its connection. I never get interference. It never drops a connection. It's fantastic. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. And of course, the Hero sensor is far more sensitive than you really need in gaming. 16,000 DPI, of course, is impossible to play at. But at least it's there. At least you know it's as accurate and precise a sensor as you need in a gaming mouse. So the fundamentals are there, and I actually like the ergonomic shape, but this just isn't the right combination of characteristics. One other thing I was concerned about were those 6 side-mounted buttons that were carried over from the G602. Now, those may be of use to folks who play MOBA or MMOs or use it in office productivity apps. But for me, these buttons actually get in the way when I'm trying to grip the mouse. In a fast-paced situation, I find myself actually hitting these buttons, and they're also a little bit uncomfortable on the side of my thumb as I try to take advantage of the nice thumb rest. So overall, as much as I loved the G602, obviously I still have it around, I felt it was better as an office productivity mouse, and kind of didn't really fit into the G series at all. Now, 6 years later, Logitech delivers essentially a clone of that mouse with a better wireless system and a better sensor. So while the internals of the G604 are certainly up to date for 2019, carrying over the design of the G602 just doesn't make sense to me at this point in time. It's too heavy, in part due to that AA battery. The lack of an internal rechargeable battery is really a big letdown for me at the $100 price point. And frankly, those side-mounted buttons get in the way unless you really need them. So how do I rate this mouse? Well, it's a tough decision, but I'm actually going to give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's a little bit harsh given that I love the wireless system and I love the sensor. I actually even love the shape for office use. But for the typical gamer, Logitech's worst enemy is Logitech itself. If you're going to spend $100 on a gaming mouse, don't get the G604, get the G703. The G703 is about 30 grams lighter. It has a built-in lithium polymer battery. It is compatible with the PowerPlay mat. Now, keep in mind this is an extra $100, but I tell you it's worth it. If you use your mouse every day like I do, this is worth it. And it also has RGB lighting. The 600 series does not include RGB lighting. That may not matter to you. A lot of people don't want RGB lighting. It certainly sucks down a lot of battery power, so some people may turn it off, but you don't even get that option with the 600 series despite the similar cost. So, like I said, at $100, Logitech simply has better options. And I hate to say it, I think that Logitech has to totally revise its 600 series of mice. I think they have to drop the AA compatibility. It's just not an asset today in 2019. I don't see anyone buying a mouse because it has AA compatibility. I also think they should add PowerPlay charging mat compatibility because it's just such an awesome system. Why would you keep that out of the hands of gamers? You should incentivize people to actually go out and buy this mat because it's a great product. And the other advantage of moving from alkaline to lithium batteries is that you'll actually drop the weight as well. I'd expect it to drop between 20 and 25 grams, which would put this into a much more competitive weight class. So here's my message to Logitech. I like your 600 series. I like the idea of being kind of a jack of all trades, adding the extra side buttons, having the really ergonomic feel. I really like the feel of this mouse, but drop the AA compatibility going forward, pick up a lithium battery, and you can keep out the RGB lights, keep that for your higher end mice, that's fine. This mouse doesn't need RGB lights, but I do think you need to move away from the 600 series being a AA powered series. That's just antiquated at this point in time. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I don't think this is a winner, but luckily Logitech has a lot of winners in its lineup. If you like this review, please do like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.